it's been announced that the makers of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney Plus, which is like a franchise I have no purchase with. I don't know anything about it. I remember years ago, I'm talking like 15 years ago. I was at a movie theater and a trailer for like a Percy Jackson movie came on. And there was like this one kind of tomboyish sort of late teen sitting by herself. And as it was playing, she was like, yes! She was like having like a little freak out at this trailer. Anyway, the makers of that are going to be making a Power Rangers show for Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Now, we don't know what, but it seemed like it was like a special project, whatever it is. From a rights perspective, this is sort of interesting because, as you know, it was on Fox Kids, and then it was actually sold to Disney at some point. Saban sold it to Disney, and so it was on Disney XD, if you remember that. Jetix, I think, you remember that. So it was all over those channels for a little while, and then they sold it back. Once and Always, that kind of like Power Rangers throwback show, that was on Netflix, and I think it was with Hasbro for a while. Maybe it still is. It keeps changing hands because somehow, some way, the Power Rangers IP has remained extremely valuable since it came out in 1993. It's fucking crazy. And yet I feel as though, despite how popular it's remained and how many toys it's continued to sell and how it's kind of like, regained touch with its childhood audience, I don't feel like it's really reached like Ninja Turtles level or like Marvel level where movies are coming out regularly for it that wide audiences are watching. But that 2017 movie on paper is pretty fucking good. Like, yeah. I got very few arguments with it. Like, if you told me, like, Frankie, like, reinvent Power Rangers for a modern audience, I would do a lot of things that they did. I'd be like, okay, well, so, one of the things that's so appealing about it is it's teens. Yeah. And so like that Saved by the Bell thing in the 90s, what could that be today? It was like, well, maybe it could be like kind of like a Breakfast Club sort of, maybe they're all in detention or, if especially for a movie,
right.
What could the teen thing be? And then you want to give them some character. You don't want them all to just be like up with people. And so you maybe this one has a divorce that's going on at home and maybe this one got bullied and, like I gave one of them like autism, and I'm like, that kind of makes sense. You can understand that writing decision, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, I gotta tell you something. Okay, I'm on the spectrum.
Oh, is that like a workout program?
And then like Bill Hader is the voice of Alpha 5.
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
Alpha 5. Why didn't they morph?
I don't know, sir. It's disturbing.
Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean to tell me that the fate of the universe is placed in the hands of these children?
Elizabeth Banks as Rita. Great. This is like a real cast. Goldar can kind of be the main monster. And they set it up so that Rita was the original Green Ranger, in ancient times, and Zordon was the original Red Ranger. That kind of re-outfits things in a way that makes it a little bit more logical. That all sounds really good. The problem is the movie was no good. Some people like it. Some people swear by it. But I found it to be too dour, right? You went too far in that direction. It does need, at the end of the day, this is going to be about people that get in like colorful costumes with bike helmets and shit. Like, and it's going to be about like the cool Zords they have. And so it's got to be about that too. And I think one of the things that's missing from that movie is the kaiju element. I've always said Power Rangers, I think, is three things: kaiju, metal, power music, and like teen comedy, teen drama, high school stuff. You put those three together, you got Power Rangers pretty much. You can sell a lot of toys. And it feels like since they realized like, wow, we're a legacy brand, we're selling to all ages. We've got expensive new toys that are for the dads, and we've got the Duplos Power Rangers. Like, we're selling to every audience. What could we do? How can we level up this franchise? And it feels like they've tried lots of things now that I'm like, yeah, I would have tried that too. So we just covered the 2017 movie. The Netflix thing feels like something I'd do too. Where I'm like, well, maybe you do like a Netflix movie, right? That's like bring back the old cast, and it's really all the nostalgia and Rita and all that. And they did it, and it's really cool on paper, but I'm not so sure about it. It felt really derpy.
We have to tell her the truth, otherwise, how's she gonna get closure?
Billy.
She's a kid. She's a kid, Billy. She doesn't need to know that we're Power Rangers.
It also was kind of strange because a couple of them are dead. Like Tommy having recently died, it was like, well, fuck. And then Trini, she got hit by a car like in 2001. So they did a whole thing about like Trini's daughter is like event. I think in the movie they were like Rita killed Trini.
Jeez.
I'm like, well, that kind of destroys the illusion there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, Rita's not supposed to be able to kill anybody. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
She needs to know that Rita Repulsa killed her mom.
You know, Lord Zed with a gun showing up to the high school.
Gotta fucking shoot you.
Now I will go to their high school and I will take a pistol and shoot each and every one of them.
They should have done that.
I will get in a car, Rita, my mistress, and I will hit them with a car. When they're not looking. From Power Rangers. I did, as a kid, I used to wonder. I was like, why not just kill him through more pedestrian means? Maybe you don't need to turn into a gigantic monster and step on anybody. Or maybe turn into the monster quickly and step on them, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Before they have time to power up.
They're in the class and it's just like, yeah, you step on them real quick.
And your whole class too. What did Bulk and Skull ever do? So yeah, so it's like, do you make a new thing, introduce it to new audiences? Do you do a dad nostalgic thing? Do you just do what's been working for 30 years, which is you keep stealing Sentai footage and you keep making new ones and you just keep spinning up new series and sell new toys and just keep going forever in that kind of loop. But I there's this instinct where I'm like, yeah, I know there's been lots of seasons, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is almost kind of distinct from the rest. It's sort of like Simpsons seasons 1 through 9 is kind of distinct from the rest of Simpsons, and that's kind of like a special era to sell to millennials. So I was trying to think, like, what would I do? And I think I'd make a kaiju movie and have the Rangers be the ones who have to save the city from the kaiju. So the opening scene is like, in ancient times, this kaiju Goldar, right, was to pretty much make a Godzilla movie.
Right.
But then introduce, now it's modern times and there's these teenagers and they're actually the ones that are going to stop the kaiju. And you have to get them to morph, EJ.
Yes.
At the end of the first fucking act.
Yes, you have to.
And not a second later. I want to see them in them costumes.
So what are they doing? Is it going to be like, we're going to make a gritty True Detective series with the Power Rangers?
The fact that it's on Disney Plus kind of implies like a fresh start or like a fresh attempt here.
Something tells me they're going to try something like Prestige. That seems like that's why I kind of brought up True Detective, like, because even James Gunn, he's like doing the Green Lanterns. He's like, it's going to be like True Detective. Like everyone wants everything to be True Detective.
It'll be like True Detective.
Which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth.
As a longtime fan, I kind of want one that explodes. One that, like, Prestige would be ridiculous. Deep down, I kind of know, like, at the end of the day, it should target ages 9 through 13 or something, you know, like 8 through 13. It should be for that younger crowd. Maybe aged up just slightly, just a little bit, you know, but not PG-13, PG. I mean, one thing they've never done, they just straight up haven't done it yet, is an animated.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And like, I feel like that with Ninja Turtles, when they tried to redo them, the Michael Bay ones didn't really work. And it wasn't really until they did the animated one that they were like, okay, and of course, Ninja Turtles has a rich history of being animated, but I think animated Power Rangers could work.
That makes sense a lot. Like, I think about Invincible. That's aimed to adults, obviously, but it has like a melodrama, like school aspect to it. It has like giant monsters to it. I think that format could definitely work for Power Rangers.
I believe pretty strongly that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers designs are a really big piece of the appeal. Whatever they do, I would not recommend, like, here's new helmets.
Weren't the movie ones like kind of like organic-y looking weird things? Yeah.
And that one was especially kind of like, it didn't work because it really was Kimberly, Jason, Billy, Zach, Trini, and it was the Dinozords, and it was the original stuff. The CG was not very good. And there was something about Krispy Kreme donuts that was in too much of the movie.
It's a Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
You circle the Krispy Kreme and make sure it's safe.
It's like an Adam Sandler movie where it's like, let's go to TGI Fridays.
Jabadoo.
Oh, did you see the Happy Gilmore trailer?
Yeah, he can't get it up anymore.
He's just like a tired, like bored, like, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob? What is that?
Let me see where my happy place is. He's like, sounds so sleepy.
I guess I need to update my happy place to something a little more age appropriate.
I'm like, is this a bit, or is this kind of like Harrison Ford, where I'm like, is this a bit? Are you being funny, or is This is who you are.
He just shows up in his clothes that he like lounges around in. And, what am I gonna do?
I think Power Rangers can't be everything for everyone. I do think you have to kind of like choose a direction. Yeah, the other thing that they did that I would do if I was in charge of it's like starting to get slightly frustrating in a way that like all these good ideas have kind of not worked. But another thing I would consider is making a beat 'em up video game, like a new kind of. I actually think that Battle for the Grid fighting game was much more successful for me. Like I thought, because it kind of brought in like lots of seasons of Power Rangers, brought in those new comic books. Yeah, that's another thing they did. There was all those comic books, like the new, Boom Studio comic books. And those were really cool, and those invented a lot of new story based on the originals. And so, actually, that's probably amongst some of the more successful new endeavors they did. But yeah, as you know, I thought like the beat 'em up felt like it was very much in the right direction. Like that's much like the 2017 thing. I'm like, that's what I would do
with the Rita rewind or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm like, but I wouldn't make it shitty. I'd respect it and spend some money. Maybe it's just because of the nature of the franchise. Like they can never quite spend money on it. Do you think?
It's like a Saban like mentality has followed it wherever, where you spend as little money as possible and you disrespect every artist and actor that's involved.
I don't know much about the guy who made the 2017 one. I have a feeling he's not a bad guy. I have a feeling that he dude, Bryan Cranston is sort of like, there's a lot of cool shit.
That's a good...
but it just didn't, you can't be having them morph in the third act and make the whole movie about like them having to like get it up to morph. That's like what the story is ultimately. But I think giving one of them like a divorced parents, and I think that all makes sense.
Yeah.
One of them went too hard. One of them was like, I don't know, she was cutting or something.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think that was actually happening, but there was something like down that line of thought. I was like, this is too much.
I wanted to die, that's why. So when you asked me to run away, I was ready.
You did an awful thing. It doesn't make you an awful person.
She needs to know that Rita Repulsa killed her mom.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.